You do not deal with heartbreak by dealing with it. That's akin to wrestling with effect. You deal with heartbreak by finding the cause and acting accordingly. Then the heartbreak vanishes. We've spoken extensively about cause and effect and how solving the cause of a problem, the effect, which is what you see, the lack of money, the absence of strong relationship, the scarcity mindset, all of this are effects of a larger problem. So trying to attack them individually, as I've said previously, would be futile, would be cumbersome. In fact, it doesn't solve the holistical problem. Sure, you might try and struggle your way through individual entities, but what it boils down to, a much larger problem. In fact, I'm going to share something now. I'll be as vulnerable as possible. An event occurred recently where a lady disrespected me. It has never happened before, or it's been a while since such thing happened because I'm me nonchalant, my financial status, my social status. So I have all of these systems in place that prohibits that experience to be my reality. And I found something very interesting happened. I kept replaying the situation. She said, "You're pissing me off." I kept replaying the situation over and over. And one of the things that stood out is maybe this is someone who's not worth it. This is someone whom previously when we met, I remember how humble, I remember how nice, I remember how loyal and courteous she was. So what changed? The reason it hits you like a ton of bricks is this person, relative to your social standing, you are vastly apart. So the disrespect is a consequence, not of worth or merit, but by access. And that is the worst kind of disrespect a man will get. If someone on your level disrespects you, you might shrug it off, or it won't cut as deep as it would some peasants whom you give access. Anyways, I start and analyze this as a professional. Why did this happen? What was the switch? This person was loyal, courteous. How did she go from being that to a disrespectful individual? And it's my fault. There were times where I condoned bad behavior. There were situations which I overlooked. Again, I'm being as vulnerable as possible. Most influencers or most businessmen, most individuals in my position would try and paint themselves in a positive light, as though they've never taken an L, nothing has ever happened to them, it's always been upwards, and they are impeccable. Nothing evil can happen to them, especially on this wise. Not the case with me. One of the things I did which stood out is, in situations like this, you do not argue, you do not confront her, you do not raise your voice, because I had every reason to. I'm of a more higher social standing, higher wealth class. I'm a better individual than the person in question. So there's legit reason for me to state all of this out and get into a fierce verbal confrontation with this person. But you know what I did? Alright, it's fine, I've heard you. End the call. Never speaking to her again. Ever. The reason I say you should do this is do not let women drag you into that pendulum. By engaging in any kind of confrontation, especially as devaluing yourself to request for every single experience, every single material item you got her, during your moment together is a decline. It's disgusting. It's like vinegar to your oil. So never do that. I'm going to teach you the right way on how to go with heartbreak, the right way to engage with heartbreak. The first thing you did, or the first thing you do, is to notice what I did. Take responsibility for every single thing that happened. I'm a professional. The worst thing I can do is to blame it on the lady or say it's her fault or women are disrespectful. Notice, I never said any of that. I said, what did I do wrong? How did she go from this to that? What happened? What is the cause of the mental switch? And I came to the conclusion I condoned bad behavior. There were certain things I overlooked. I wasn't as strict as I used to be, which gave room for the rise of a rebellion, which I quelled immediately as the czar of my life. So that's the first thing you need to do. Take responsibility. Find out what you did wrong and how to improve the situation. Yes, the other person might be a complete whore, might be a complete asshole, might be every negative thing you categorize them. But the truth of the matter is people would only treat you how you treat yourself. Notice how women act with celebrities. They're nice, they're cautious. But as the celebrity, once you downplay your status and try to become an equal with this lady, you see the other side of her. You begin to receive treatment as a commoner. The point I'm trying to highlight is most times when we're in love, you tend to overlook certain things, a mistake you should not make. Learn from my experience. In fact, the problem I have with most people, like I've said in yesterday's video, is you would see a man make a mistake, struggle 30 years to get out of that ditch, and you go make the same mistake. Why? I want to experience it. Or because you're just foolish. You're the person who's twice as unwise because someone else have failed for you. So that's the first thing. Responsibility. What did I do wrong? How can I make sure this doesn't repeat itself? What happened? And like I said, do not engage in any kind of confrontation with this person. Do not stoop down as low to collect material or experiential items. It's fine. Take care of yourself. Goodbye. Before we move on to point 2, let me make something clear. You would miss this person. There are times where you will get a win from what I'm about to share, and you will feel the urge to reach out. Therein and there, you should not adhere to this head instinct. It's going to be your unbecoming. Any person you take back out of a massive disrespect will only continue to compound your misery. What you should do as the czar of your life, once there's a rebellion, you cut it absolutely and immediately. You should be fierce and strike once. Which leads us to number 2. Once you're done taking responsibility and absolute accountability of your life, the next thing you need to do is seek to improve your life. Not just that aspect of your life, because women, you know how they spend their heartbreak, parties, drugs, they get a new man, things that connote towards degeneracy. But you're different. You would spend your time every single waking hours improving your destiny. And that is going to the gym, reading a book, trying to start a business, doing something that in the next 6 months you'll be absolutely unrecognizable. And my apologies, the lights are not on. I detest recording in light as opposed to using natural sunlight. And this is absolutely my fault. I should have turned on the camera 3 to 4 hours ago, but I procrastinated, I pushed it. It was absolutely very unprofessional. I promise you it will not happen again. I will not repeat that same mistake. So the first one, take responsibility for your life. The second is look for ways to improve your destiny. Imagine in the next 6 months, you pull up in a luxurious car, big arms, fit body. You can see the look of regret on her face. You're never going to get that unique experience, that unique satisfaction, if you do not put in the work. You can observe it from the other standpoint and say, you're petty, you should not think about her. Of course you shouldn't, you should do it for you. But this is not a moral argument. It's as neutral as law of gravity. If you improve your life, those who betrayed, those who snaked will feel a tinge of discontent. That I could have been a part of this and I failed because of my monumental wickedness, my monumental ability to disrespect access, my monumental lack of orientation. Life is a circle for me. People disrespect me, I disappear, come back stronger. Then the people I meet, whom I now give access, disrespect over time, repeating the same process. Again, you should do it for you. But this is a neutral argument. And as always, my friends, pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.